Good morning, everybody. I want to do another video in my series on the King James Bible, and today we're going to look at the timeline that follows the course of events in English history in the production of an English Bible. Now, it all begins in 1456 when Johannes Gutenberg produces the first printed Bible, and it's in Latin. Okay. Now, in 1516, so quite a while later, Erasmus publishes his first printed Greek New Testament. We talked about this in the videos previously, but we're just going to go through some of these times so that we can understand. Now, the following year, which was 1517, the indulgence controversy with Martin Luther sparked the Reformation in Germany, when he posts his 95 theses on the church door in Wittenberg. Now, then we have the Diet of Worms, which occurred in 1521, so just 4 years later, in which Luther, his works on translating the New Testament are examined by the Roman Church and are examined with a purpose of censoring him. A few years later, 5 years later, we have the first complete English edition of the New Testament published by William Tyndale in Worms, so in the same place as where Luther is. And then in 1530, Tyndale publishes his translation of the Pentateuch, which is the first 5 books of the Old Testament. Now, that was in 1530. Only 5 years later, Coverdale produces his Bible. It's the first complete English printed Bible. And then the following year, we have a number of very important events that take place. The first event is the dissolution of the monasteries. John Calvin arrives in Geneva, and William Tyndale is executed in October. Now, the following year, the Matthew's Bible is published, and 2 years later, in 1539, the Great Bible is published. So we can see a lot of Bibles being published here. We've got the Coverdale Bible. Well, first of all, we've got Erasmus's New Testament. Then we've got William Tyndale, his first English edition of the New Testament. And then we have the Coverdale, and then we have the Matthew's Bible, and then we have the Great Bible, all in very, very quick succession. In just that decade, all of those things were done. Then we need to go forward about 20 years. In 1557, we have the publication of William Whittingham's Geneva New Testament. Okay, Mary had come to the throne, and a lot of the evangelicals of that day left England and travelled to places of safety, and such as to Geneva in Switzerland. 3 years later, the Geneva Bible is published. So the New Testament first, and then the whole of the Geneva Bible published in 1560. 8 years later, we have the Bishop's Bible published. This was a particular version, we talked about it earlier, in which the bishops of the Church of England were very much involved. Now, in 1582, we have the Douay-Rheims New Testament published, and all of that is going on at the same time. And then in 1604, we have the Hampton Court Conference, in which there was a decision to publish the new English translation of the Bible, and Richard Bancroft succeeds as Archbishop of Canterbury. And he, of course, is one of the key figures in the King James Bible. Now, in 1611, we have the actual publication of the King James Bible. So from the Hampton Court Conference in 1604 to 1611 is the period of time that the King James Version was in translation. At the same time, in 1609, we have the publication of the Douay-Rheims Old Testament, which was completed the year before the King James Bible. And then in the years that succeeded, we have the 30 Years' War, we have the English Civil War, we have the execution of Charles I, we have the death of Cromwell, and the restoration of the monarchy and the return of Charles II to England, the Act of Uniformity and the Book of Common Prayer in 1662, and in 1675 we have the King James Bible, which was published by the Cambridge University Press. So in all of these years, from 1456 to 1675, in that period of 200 years, a tremendous revolution took place in England. We have a complete succession, one after another, of versions of the Bible. All of them followed one after another. So, for example, the Coverdale Bible was a revision of William Tyndale, and the Matthew's Bible was a revision of the Coverdale Bible, and the Great Bible was a revision of the Matthew's Bible. They all followed one after another. We have the Geneva Bible, we have the Bishop's Bible, and then finally the King James Version, which again was a revision of the Bishop's Bible. Okay, so this is it. And as each Bible came out, so lots of innovations were made. For example, the chapters and the verses, whether the verses were put in Gothic type or whether they were in Roman type, all of these innovations come out. One of the things that seems to come out very, very strongly is that Geneva Bible was almost certainly the best of them all. It was very, very well done indeed, and it had notes, very extensive notes, not only to understand the message of the Bible, but technical notes in the margin about various scriptures and cross-references. So that was very, very interesting indeed. So there we are. This is our little mini lecture for today. Now we're going to do, on our next one, we're going to do a revision, not a revision, a commentary on the prefaces that the translators of the various Bibles have written. Okay, we're going to make a commentary. We're going to make commentary on what they wrote, and we're going to learn a tremendous amount. Not only about the King James Version, but about the Geneva Bible, and then about other Bibles that have followed on after that. So that's what we're hoping to do next. I'm hoping that this is proving to be very interesting. Not only does it help us to understand the Bibles that we have in front of us today, but it helps us also to be able to understand what other issues involved in Bible translation. So we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Have a great day. God bless you. Bye for now.